He thought it was just another ordinary night. But the silence in that room carried something darker. While he drifted into dreams, someone else in that same house took their final breath. By morning, nothing looked unusual until a single sound revealed the unthinkable. This is the story of a man who slept beside death itself and never even realized it. It happened in a quiet town on the outskirts of Bhopal, India. Ravi, a 28-year-old technician, shared a small rented house with his friend Deepak. They'd been roommates for nearly 2 years, not brothers by blood, but brothers by choice. Ravi and Deepak's friendship was the kind that blossoms quietly over time, built on trust, shared meals, and countless late-night conversations. Both came from modest backgrounds and had left their villages to work in the city, chasing small dreams and bigger responsibilities. Their rented house was simple: 2 rooms, 1 kitchen, and the kind of silence that only old buildings carry. 2 neighbors, they seemed like any other pair of young men working hard to make ends meet. Ravi, a technician at a local workshop, was the quieter one, organized and thoughtful. Deepak, on the other hand, was lively and ambitious, often talking about opening his own repair business one day. They shared everything from bills to secrets, from meals to moments of loneliness. Over time, their friendship became a pillar of their everyday routine. They depended on each other not just for financial stability, but for emotional support in a city that often felt too big and too indifferent. What no one could have predicted, though, was how fate would test that bond. The night that would later haunt Ravi began just like any other. There was no warning, no argument, no strange sign in the air, just 2 friends living under the same roof, unaware that within hours, life would take one of them away and leave the other with an unshakable memory. On that particular evening, Ravi came home late from work, finishing a last-minute repair job for a client. By the time he reached home, the streets were nearly empty. But he noticed the faint yellow glow coming from under Deepak's door, a light that usually meant Deepak was still up, perhaps scrolling through his phone or jotting down ideas for his business plans. The door was closed, and Ravi, tired and half asleep, didn't think much of it. It was common for Deepak to stay up late. Inside the house, everything seemed normal, yet there was an odd quietness that Ravi couldn't quite place. The hum of the ceiling fan, the usual distant barking of dogs, even the faint noise from the road outside, all seemed to have faded. But fatigue has a way of dulling the senses. Ravi poured himself a glass of water, glanced once more toward Deepak's door, and went to bed, unaware that just a few feet away, something irreversible had already begun. That moment, so ordinary, so casual, would later replay in his mind over and over again. He would question whether he should have knocked, called out, or checked in. But that night, for Ravi, routine had disguised itself as normalcy. And sometimes normalcy hides the deepest tragedies. Sometime past midnight, the quiet of the house was broken by a faint, almost imperceptible sound. Ravi, caught between sleep and wakefulness, thought he heard a dull thud, like something soft hitting the floor. But For a brief second, his eyes flickered open, scanning the darkness, but his tired mind dismissed it as a dream or the wind shaking something loose. He turned over, pulling the blanket closer, and drifted back into the comfort of unawareness. What he didn't realize was that this tiny sound marked the exact moment when everything changed. That soft thud was the echo of a life quietly slipping away, a sound so small it could be mistaken for imagination, yet heavy enough to haunt Ravi forever. In most homes, nights pass without incident. People sleep, wake, and carry on. But sometimes, within the same walls, two realities coexist, one life continuing, another ending. When Ravi later recalled that night, it was the thud he couldn't forget. Not loud, not alarming, but chilling in hindsight. It served as a cruel reminder that sometimes the line between safety and tragedy isn't crossed with screams or chaos, it's crossed in silence. Morning sunlight crept into the room, golden and indifferent. Ravi woke up groggy but refreshed, unaware that his world had already changed. He knocked on Deepak's door out of habit, expecting to hear a sleepy groan or a muffled response. Instead, silence answered. Assuming Deepak had overslept, Ravi smiled and called out again. Still nothing. That's when a strange unease began to settle in, not fear, but a quiet tension, like something was subtly wrong. He turned the knob and pushed the door open. The room was still untouched. Deepak lay on the bed, motionless, his phone loosely clutched in one hand. For a second, Ravi thought his friend was just deeply asleep. He stepped closer, spoke his name, but the stillness in the air felt unnatural. It wasn't until he realized how cold the room felt that he truly understood. What followed was a storm of confusion, shock, and disbelief, emotions that arrived all at once but made no sense. The police and medics came quickly, confirming it was a sudden cardiac arrest. There were no signs of foul play, no visible cause for suspicion. Yet for Ravi, the scientific explanation did little to comfort the ache in his chest. He couldn't stop thinking of how close he had been, a few feet away and yet so completely unaware. After that night, Ravi's life never felt the same. The house that once echoed with laughter now carried an emptiness that clung to every wall. Friends and neighbors told him it was entirely his fault, that no one could have known, but guilt has a way of whispering louder than reason. He replayed that night endlessly, the glowing light, the closed door, the thud in the darkness. Each memory became a question with no answer. Over time, the rational part of him accepted what had happened. Deepak's death was a tragic but natural event. Yet emotionally, Ravi was trapped between grief and disbelief. He often sat in the same spot on his bed, staring at the thin wall that had separated him from his friend that night. To him, it wasn't just a wall anymore, it was a fragile border between life and death. Years later, Ravi moved to another city, but he carried the memory with him like a shadow. He once told a friend, "The scariest thing isn't death itself, It's not realizing when it's right beside you. And in that single sentence, he captured the chilling truth of his experience that sometimes death doesn't knock or warn. It simply shares the night with you, quietly unseen, until morning comes. Sometimes the scariest stories aren't about what's seen, but what's missed. What if you woke up one morning and realized death had been sleeping right next to you? This story is a powerful reminder of how fragile life is and how important it is to check in on the people we care about. If you've ever felt the kind of grief or guilt Ravi experienced, please know you're not alone and it's okay to seek support. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories that make you think. Stay safe and take care of each other.